everyone, it's Josh White with Lucas Lighting, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Lucas Lighting decoders. What are these things for? Why do we need them? Well, these guys give us capacitance, which solves for flashing or flickering, and it gives us digital variable resistance. It gives us reverse polarity correction, and it allows the LEDs to work in series. I'm going to talk about each of those now. The decoders have built-in capacitance, and what this is for is a couple of things. If you've got any issue with your alternator or your power system in your car, that will result in basically instead of like a flat voltage, you're going to have something a little lower than flat, or you're going to have some kind of little ripples in waves in the below the 12 volt mark somewhere, or you're going to maybe you have pulse width modulation where it's 12 volts and it drops down to 0 and it goes back up to 12 volts, and it does that super fast. And so what this does is this takes a pulsed input or a waved input and it makes it solid on the output side. So this is kind of like, if you think about it as a power conditioner. So you put this in line, you got the dirty signal coming in, you got the clean signal coming out. That's what capacitance does. These decoders also have digital variable resistance built in. And so what that is basically it gives us a resistance value. It gives us a whole bunch of different resistance values actually that depending on what the CAN bus sends us on turn on, it will send back resistance values essentially to keep healthy system status so that you don't get bulb out indicators on your dash. The last two benefits are reverse polarity correction and allows LEDs to work in series. And because those are so related, I'm going to cover them at the same time and do a brief explanation on how to install these. So for those two topics, it's mainly going to cover the 2-pin light bulbs. So your 3 pins like H13s, H4s, and things like that, you're not going to really have any problems with polarity because there's 3 pins and you can't really plug it in wrong. If you look at this, there is a plus and a minus built right into there on the input side. So we want to make sure that those are correct if possible. So an H7 is the same size as a Milwaukee battery. So I'm going to use this Milwaukee battery to show you kind of how this works. And you can use a multimeter, on this to see what plus and minus is on the 12 volts DC setting. But if you don't have that, you can also take a light bulb and plug it in. And as long as the light bulb turns on, you can look at the back of the light bulb and you got plus minus, and you can see that it matches. And if you flip it over and try to plug it in, it's not going to work. It won't work at all. So basically, once you, on your plug in your car, once you validate what plus and minus is, you can mark it with a silver Sharpie or mark it in some kind of way. So once you have that plugged in, plus, that way, on the other end, you're going to have a red wire and a black wire. So your red wire is plus and your black wire is minus. So that will turn on as soon as you get that in. Okay, so we're good. So if you try to flip this the other way, it doesn't work still. So this is very important polarity wise. It has to be the correct way. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on and I'm going to unplug this. Okay. Now if I flip this over, the light still works, okay? So this will actually run in reverse polarity. So that's what we mean by reverse polarity correction. Unfortunately, it's not something that we recommend that you use because it affects the way that it helps you in certain situations, which ties into the fourth benefit of these, these allow lights to work in a series configuration. So if you have like daytime running lights on a Toyota, for instance, you want to make sure that these are plugged in and that they are plus, minus, minus on your harness because this will make sure that your series benefit will work correctly on this. It's going to make sure that your current's regulated correctly. Just make sure that the polarity is correct when you have a 2-pin situation, and these are going to work as good as possible for you. Thanks for tuning in, and definitely thanks for choosing Lucas for your lighting needs.